Welcome back everybody. In today's video, I want to explore some of the instrument modeling in the Boss SY1000, and to do that I have installed a Roland GK3 pickup on my PRS Custom 24. So the sounds you hear are coming from the GK pickup and not the guitar's onboard pickups. What I've started with is a very basic patch on the SY1000. I've simply used instrument 1 to model an electric guitar, and there's nothing else, but I am running that straight out of the SY1000 into my Acoustic 3. So we're going to see how the SY1000 works solely as an instrument modeler, and all the processing is going to be with the Acoustic 3. You can see here I have a dual amp set up at the moment with the Vibrato Lux model, and there is some of this wonderful medium hall reverb on there. Let's just hear that. This is the electric guitar model. I think I'm using a CLA ST. I'm guessing that's a classic Strat on the front pickup. Let's hear it. Kind of sounds like a Strat front pickup. Let's explore these pickup selections. I reckon one of my favorite things ever in the world of guitar, it's the position, depending on what you call it, 2 or 4, the neck pickup and the middle pickup together, or C plus F as we've got here. Pretty tasty stuff. This actually sounds pretty good. Let's hear, again, if that was position, say, 4, let's call this one position 2 on a Strat. This sounds way better than the old Roland VG8. That's my last experience with instrument modeling anyway. So what we can do here is we can keep modeling an electric guitar, but we can change the type of electric guitar. Let's try a Les Paul, and let's use the rear pickup. Let's have a listen to what this sounds like. All right, let's hear the front pickup. That's got a bit more of a Les Paul vibe about it. I like that. It doesn't just sound like a Strat with a humbucker in it. It's kind of got different properties in there. Is that the right word for it? Properties? I don't know what else to say. Let's hear a P90 in here. I like that. Let's see if it does the cleans up with the volume control thing. I like that a lot. That is a pretty convincing P90. Let's hear a 335. That's really nice. What is that, the rear pickup? Very nice. Let's hear this into a dirty amp on the Axe FX3. I love the Atomica higher model. This is a dual Atomica patch. There's a reason I've got these set up with dual amps. I'll come back to it in a second. But let's hear that Les Paul again on the rear pickup into the Atomica. All right, let's add some delay and let's engage the input boost on the Axe FX and the amp blocks. You can hear there that changing over to the Strat, it actually sounds like they're kind of modeling the resonant peaks in a guitar pickup as well as the differences in the, I guess, the actual guitars themselves. However much that contributes to the overall tone. Let's hear, well, we can do a bright humbucker model. I'm guessing this would be like more of a modern kind of thing. And the other thing that I should talk about with this as well, let's actually just quickly turn off that delay. Obviously you can change the tuning here as well, so let's do a different tuning. Let's go down to let's do drop C with this. I'll turn the alternate tuning on. We've got this modern bright humbucker on there. Nice. Let's do, there's this D modal, which is dadgad. Of course, we could go back to that clean amp on scene 1 on the Axe FX, and let's do a different actual electric guitar model. I'll keep this tuning because I really like it, and let's go for something that we didn't try before, like maybe the old Telly. Get something swampy happening. The other thing you can do as well is, of course, rather than have a, well, let's leave it as a modal tuning, let's turn the 12-string mode on. Very cool. So you have guitar modeling, pickup modeling, and you can change the tunings or change over to something like a 12-string. What I'm going to do is I'm going to swap over to a different patch where I can use the feature which lets us pan individual strings hard left and hard right. I'll just kind of find that patch really quickly wherever I left it. Oh, I can probably just do this. Let's do this one. So this is the Strat model. But as you can see, hopefully here, oh, actually it's two of them. So I have, and let's change up the pickups as well. So over here, I have the classic Strat will be on the front pickup, and then over here we'll have the classic Strat, but I'll be on the, oh, let's not even do a classic Strat, let's do like a Les Paul on the rear pickup, just cause I have, where have I got this? So the Les Paul on the rear pickup, string 6, 4, and 2, and that should be panned either left or right, and the Strat should be on the other side. Check this out. That is really, really interesting. Let's add some distortion from the Axe effects and some delay again, and this is going to be a pretty wild kind of lead guitar sound. That is really, really cool, but really strange as well, because as you're crossing strings, the sound is panning to different sides of the spectrum in what feels like it should be a predictable way, but it's not. It kind of does your head in, and I like that. I like that that is so unintuitive there. Let's look at another patch on the SY1000. This is going to be a bass guitar for the low two strings and an electric guitar for the high two strings, and then I'm going to process it with the Axe FX3 with a bass amp for the low strings and a guitar amp for the high strings. So let's bring that one up. I've called it Dual Tar, and I should probably change to the relevant scene. Let's hear this. Again, really, really interesting, really unintuitive. I'm sure you get used to it pretty quickly though. Let's hear some acoustic models now. I'm going to start out with this MA28 model. You have controls for body, volume, and tone. I've turned the tone down a little bit because I kind of like darker acoustic guitar tones, and I've also panned the strings alternately hard left and hard right. There's no alternate tuning going on at the moment, but I will play around with that. Then on the Axe FX3, we have this, what looks like a complicated patch, but I'm routing stereo out of the SY1000 into input 2 of my Axe FX, and then kind of like my dual amp setup, this chain here is panned hard left, this one is panned hard right, so the left and right sides are being panned independently. And then I had this lovely South Church reverb. We'll hear a couple of other effects on there, but this is what a G chord sounds like anyway. So we heard it there with and without reverb. We also heard that absolutely gorgeous and lush Plex reverb from the Axe FX3, which is one of my favorite reverbs of all time. Let's play around with the tuning now. Let's go that D modal tuning again. Let's hear that. That's absolutely wild, having that panned in stereo. It's quite a beautiful thing. The other thing we can play around with, obviously, let's turn that alternate tuning off so I don't forget about it. We can have different types of acoustic guitar. For example, we could have something like a nylon. Again, that kind of stereo thing. Didn't Steve Morse have a song, Modoc or something like that, with a guitar with pickups like that? That's pretty awesome. You can see with the nylon thing, you really got to crank the tone up a little bit. It's nice having that body resonance in there, which I would turn down on something like this. But if you went for something like, say, a Gibson J45, let's bring the tone kind of to noon. You get this. And I think really finding the right place for that body resonance is really the difference between, you know, a good acoustic simulation where you actually simulate an acoustic guitar body resonating rather than like an electric guitar going through, say, like an impulse response or some filters or something like that. You need that resonance in there. So I like that they've captured that. We've got a whole bunch of other acoustic instruments like the sitar. Once you get that buzz and decay and color dialed in, that's really, really cool. I dig that. I didn't quite like it at first, but that's because I wasn't playing around with those advanced parameters there. So there's also a banjo in there. We've got this rezo instrument, which is pretty fun, and a bunch of just classic acoustic guitar models in there. The last thing that I want to have a look at with this is not an acoustic model. It is something called the Vio guitar, which is I don't know, it kind of sounds like a cross between a violin and a guitar, as you would expect. It's like a bowed electric guitar or something like that. So when you go in, we'll leave the tuning as it is. Again, here's this thing where stuff is at 0 when it should be all the way up. I talked about that last time. You can kind of set it as a like guitar pickup. So let's use the neck pickup on a Les Paul for this one. Then we have a whole filter section and a harmonic section. So let's crank some of this stuff up and get it going, and then we'll play around with the filters, bit of overtone, bit of attack, this slide time, a little bit octave down, color I'll put in the middle, touch sensitivity sounds like a good thing, and lead emphasis. This sounds pretty fun into like a dirty amp as well, but let's just hear the basic sound. And now let's hear it into a dirty amp on the Axe FX3. We'll go back to that Dual Atomica preset that I had, and let's crank up some delay in there. that's the Vio guitar. I don't know if any of that made any coherent musical sense, but it was pretty fun, and it is a pretty wild tone to play around with. It's almost like playing a new instrument. So hopefully it gives you an idea over the course of this video what you can do with the instrument modeling in the SY1000. I think those guitar models and those pickup models are very, very convincing. If you just needed that though, the SY1000 is probably overkill. You're probably better off getting a used VG99 just for that task. But like I said last time we just looked at the amp modeling. I think if you just need amp modeling, there are dedicated units that do that better. Not that the SY1000 is bad, because those tones, I thought, stacked up pretty well. Kind of the same thing with the instrument modeling. You know, if this is all it did, then it's probably overkill. But the fact that it does amp modeling, it does instrument modeling, and it does all the synthesizer stuff makes it a pretty potent package. I think a lot of people look at this and just go, oh, cool, guitar synth, that's all I'm going to use it for. But the reality is you could use it as a guitar synth. You could use it as a standalone modeler. You could use it as part of a bigger rig to basically simulate different guitars or different instruments, and kind of plays nice with everything. There's a couple of little features that I talked about last time which would be awesome if they were upgraded, but when it comes to this stuff, there's still nobody out there who can really match Roland or Boss. And you know, even though the GK is this kind of big chunky thing you have to stick on your guitar, it does what it says, and it actually works, which, you know, at the end of the day, that's kind of what we want. Anyway, let me know what you thought of the tones and the features in the comments below. If you have any requests for videos with this unit before I send it back, please let me know. In the meantime, stay safe, be excellent to one another, and thank you for watching.